My name is Nolan Myers, and I will be presenting the project Football Field Renovation at Commerce High School by Myers Custom Construction. I will be outlining the plans and procedures for this project throughout this presentation. Project overview and scope. First and foremost, Myers Custom Construction is dedicated to serving its customers and providing top-of-the-line performance in a timely fashion. The project budget we've allocated for this project is $700,000. The timeline, it is expected to take place from May 9th to June 13th in 2022. Location will be in Commerce, Texas. More specifically, it will be at Commerce High School. The management system for this project, I myself, Nolan Myers, will be the project manager. The general contractor for on-site management will be Zachary Bergen, and he will bring his construction crew, which will be provided by Joe Bob's Construction, his home company. This company is located in Sulphur Springs, Texas, and the turf management coordinator that we have employed to be on site on behalf of Myers Custom Construction is Robert Ford. Sponsors for this project include Brookshire's, the Commerce location specifically, as well as Fix and Feed here in Commerce, Texas. The sponsors have contributed monetarily and reserved branding locations on the field. It is imperative to correctly position the sponsor logos in their agreed upon locations upon the completion of this project. So the communication for this project, I myself am at the top of the food chain as the project manager. Robert Ford and Zachary Bergen will both individually report to me. And then for on-site communication, the construction crew will have access to discuss any issues, questions, or concerns with both Robert Ford and Zachary Bergen to get accurate information. If necessary, they will contact me. But more importantly, I will be on top of my on-site managers, Robert Ford and Zachary Bergen, as far as timelines, deadlines, and important dependencies. So the goal of this project is to fully replace the current natural grass field at Commerce High School with turf. Additionally, we will be removing and replacing the current chain link fencing around the field with new top-of-the-line chain link. On top of this, obviously, we are going to organize and secure the turf in alignment with the desired design given to us by the high school athletic department. So the work breakdown structure for this project, as you can see in the first phase, we will begin our land prep by clearing the land, plotting our construction markers, and then contracting the crew that we will be bringing over. And then this goes into our second phase of the first part of the project, where we'll be applying a grass solution to kill the grass before we begin to remove it using excavators. This will be the final step of the first phase. So we will use excavators to remove all existing grass to prepare for the turf installation, which will be the next phase. We will organize the turf strips in order before we move them out to the land. We will make sure that the land is level, where we will install the turf strips. And then once they are installed, we will seal the edges. Once the turf is in place and we're coming to a close in the second phase, we will begin fencing, where we will install our corner anchors, place fence posts, and install gate locks to prevent any theft. And then our third phase will go on to our turf finishing, where we will install our turf pellets, which are there to protect the turf and make it more sustainable. Again, we will go over the turf and apply a second spray of grass solution to make sure that we have killed any and all grass that may be intrusive into the turf. And we will roll the turf with the excavator. Will drag a tool behind it to make sure that the turf is in place and there's no loose pieces. And then the final touches, before we go through our final assessment, we will rake the turf and test the draining system and dispose of any old grass that we have pulled up in the proper way. And then obviously we'll receive final approval by all parties and just confirming that everything is in place. Necessary equipment and inventory for this project. We will have 200 square yards of turf. These will be organized by design. An excavator, which will be provided by Joe Bob's construction crew from Sulphur Springs. The person in charge will be Zachary Bergen for on-site supervision, and chain link fencing and corner posts for anchoring will also be necessary for our fencing. As we look at the timeline, If you look at the bottom, we have 53 days to complete this project. We'll be having an initial plans and design meeting on May 9th, followed by an on-site assessment to ensure that our plans are doable. After that, we will have the okay to begin excavation, which will take approximately 2 weeks to remove any old grass and the current fencing. After that, we'll have 2 weeks for the installation process, installing a new turf and fencing. And then we will have an additional 2 weeks for the final adjustments, which include raking, leveling the field, and ensuring everything is in place. And if you look here at the Gantt chart of the project, you'll see key dependencies given by the arrows on the Gantt chart. And it just shows a little bit more in depth the project timeline. So key dependencies that aren't necessarily outlined in the Gantt chart, but are key dependencies nonetheless. So arrival of the turf, organization of the pieces will depend on the arrival of the turf. So if the turf does arrive late, we may have to delay organizing the pieces, which could potentially delay installation. And excavation and leveling, the turf installation is dependent on the timeliness of the excavation and leveling of the field. So we need to get that done in a timely fashion. Potential risks that we may run into during this project. There is currently numerous shortages in the global supply chain. A shortage in any necessary materials may cause delays. That is something that we will have to work around. But given that there are numerous global supply chain shortages, we will figure that out. Weather, given the nature of outdoor work, weather may impact our work schedule. Alternative days may be presented. Currently in the schedule, there are no weekends. However, we can contract the construction crew to work weekends if there are rainouts or rain delays because of weather. Additionally, poorly drafted pre-construction plans may contribute to risks as well as inaccurate bidding during the pre-construction phase, which may create unexpected expenses later on in the project. If there are any questions about this project, please contact the project manager, Nolan Myers, myself. My email is listed on this slide. Other than that, have a great evening.